Hello and welcome to FTS training. Today we're going to look at how to fill out an analog tachograph correctly so as you don't pick up any infringements or fines on the side of the road. First we need to make sure we've got the correct chart. So we get our chart, we check the speed rating, which is 125 kilometers an hour. We check to make sure that there's no damage to the chart anywhere, so there's no scratches on it which could interfere with the trace, which is good. We then check the back and look at the E numbers on the back. So we've got E1, E2, E11 and E13. Okay, now all these numbers should match up and correspond with the tacho itself. So we said we had 125 kilometers an hour, which we have, you can see just in there and at the side just there. When we open it up, we have the E number, E1, just on the side, and then we need to make sure that the tacho header unit has been calibrated. So we've got the 2-yearly inspection there and the 6-yearly inspection just on the side. Now if you've got the cassette type where you press the button and it ejects like a CD player and the drawer opens, pull the drawer open, it folds down and you should find the stickers in there. And a lot of calibration centres now are actually putting stickers on the inside the driver's door shut so you can see it nice and clearly when you get in. Okay. Once we're happy that we've got the correct chart and we're happy that it corresponds and matches up and it's compatible with the tacho head, what we need to do is fill it in. There's a little picture there of a driver, so that's asking us who the driver is, so for our name. It doesn't matter what way round you put your name, first name, last name, first name. There is no legal requirement on that. However, your company policy may stipulate that you have to go surname first name or first name surname. Okay. When you fill it in, you need to make sure that you don't go over into the trace. Again, otherwise you cannot record an accurate record because you'll have your writing through the middle of it. If your name is too long, abbreviate on the front and then on the back write it out in full. First name, surname, first name, and then sign it and date it to say it was you that made the entry. So I'll just fill my name in now. There we go. Next we have a little picture of a building. Next to that building we have an arrow facing away from it and an arrow facing the building. The arrow facing away is our start location. Again, if this is too long to fit in the box without going over the trace, abbreviate it, fill it in on the space on the back. So I should just put in the location of Peterborough. There we go. End location, well that's got to be left until the end of the day, until your shift is finished. As you never know, you could be rerouted, asked to do a night out, break down and your journey stops somewhere else, so you can never assume that you're going to finish where you started. Next we have a picture of a vehicle and this is asking for the registration number. So you normally split it in two, first part of the reg on the top line, second part on the bottom line. So I'll just do that now. There we go. Next we've got the date, start date, and then we have our finish date. Again, so they're two identical lines, the top one being the outgoing date, the bottom one being the incoming date. Again, you leave the bottom one blank until the shift is finished. So put today's date, 17, 12, 11. And then we have another two pictures of little buildings. We've got that top line with the arrow facing the building, so that's mileage coming in or kilometers coming in, and again kms, kilometers going out. So you put your start kilometers on the bottom line, so at the end of the day if you choose to do the maths, you've got the smaller number on the bottom and the larger number on the top, making the maths easier to work out. I should just put the mileage in. Okay. And for now, that's us completed and ready to insert the tacho into the tacho head. Now, some companies will stipulate you should put a line at the start before you put your tacho in to show that you've got a full accurate record of your day. Some companies will say put the line between, say, 6 and 6. So you started at 6 but didn't actually get to the vehicle until 6:30. So we need to know what you did between 6 and 6:30. So they'll say put a line down between 6 and 6 and put EDR, which is end daily rest, or EWR, end weekly rest, depending on what you're ending. If you do the line on the front, you need to make sure that it's dead straight, so from 6 till 6. If you veer off either side, you could pick an infringement up, as you're not accurately showing what time you started work, as it will say 6 o'clock at the top of the line and 5 to 6 or 5 past on the bottom of the line. Okay, again, by doing it on the front, there is a danger that you could interfere with the trace, so we would recommend that you do this on the back. So you find 6 o'clock in the morning, there we go, and there's a line already drawn for you, so all you would need to do is trace that line. Now I've got a digicard as well, so if you own a digicard and you're driving an Analogue, the digi must come everywhere with you. Okay, so that if you're stopped on the side of the road by VOSA or the police, they can have a look at both your digicard and your tachos to see a full picture of everything that you've been doing. The other thing you can do is use it to just draw a nice straight line. There we go. Make sure you don't press too hard, otherwise it can come through and damage the chart on the front. So we're going to say between 6 and 6:30, when I was at work, what I was doing was other work. So we've got different modes now. So on the bottom we have rest, next one POA, other work and drive. So I find 6 o'clock in the morning, second column round, and I just record a line in the middle of the brick, 6 till 6:30, other work. Make sure that's not come through onto the front and there's no damage, which there isn't. And now we can put this in to the tacho head and start recording. Check the time to make sure the time is correct for the start of the day, and we can do that by matching up with the pair onto the tacho, like so. That's good. In it goes. We then do our day's work. At the end of the day, take the chart out, make sure that it's recorded, and we're going to inspect the chart for any damage. Okay, so make sure that there's no rough edges around the pair where it may have been caught and being dragged round. Have a look to make sure there's no gaps in any of the trace, bearing in mind that we're only simulating this exercise. Okay, so you would have to trace all the way around, making sure there's no gaps and it's actually recorded properly. Have a look at a time of day in which you had a break. So if you knew you had a lunch break at 12, make sure that there was a record of that and it's actually been recorded. Okay, if not, you need to follow your defect procedures so that your boss is aware of the problems with your tacho chart. We can now complete the rest of the tacho. So we're going to finish again in Peterborough. So I'll put in Peterborough. We finished on the same date, 17/12/11, and then we write in the end kilometres. Okay, so as you can see, every box is now full up other than the bottom one where it says kilometres. There is no legal requirement to fill in the total kilometres box. However, if you fill it in and it is wrong, you can pick up an infringement. Okay, so again, if your company doesn't stipulate it, it's probably best if you leave it out, avoiding an unnecessary infringement. Okay, this one's nice and easy. I've started with 33,400, finished on 33,600, so I've got a nice easy 200 kilometres driven that day. Okay, so I could put that one in safely, knowing that I won't pick up any infringements. On the back though, between the time of me taking the tachograph chart out at say 2 o'clock in the afternoon and me finishing work, there was a gap of half an hour of other work. So again, I would need to record this in the same manner in which I did first thing in the morning. So I go round to 2 o'clock and I draw a line between 2 and 6:30 in the other work column, like so. I then get my straight edge, draw my line down, and then I can put either start daily rest or start weekly rest depending on what it is next to the line, as I would have over here in the morning. Okay, now you can see boxes on the back. This is for if you changed vehicle. So we started in Peterborough and we drove to, say, Doncaster. So on the front we have fill it out how we did at the start, starting in Peterborough, leaving the gap blank. On the back we put in the new registration number, the time of the change, okay, and then we put in the total kilometres, the start kilometres and the finish kilometres on the rear, and there is a total kilometre box as well if need be. The end though, if we ended back in Peterborough, the end goes on Peterborough. If we ended in Newark, we'd put Newark on the front. And that is basically how you fill in an analogue tachograph chart so that you don't pick up any infringements on the side of the road or at a workplace inspection. To keep the charts nice and safe now, so we don't need them to get damaged, we've got these envelopes here, as you can see. If we put them nicely in there, we can now keep these for the required amount of time, safe but knowing that they're not going to get scratched up. And as it stands at the minute, you need to keep your current day plus the previous 28 calendar days worth of tachograph charts. But the good thing about these charts is you can actually see you've got the day, so Monday down to Sunday, serial number, so if your company stamps the disc with a serial number, you can write down what serial numbers you used on what particular day. Vehicle registration numbers that was used, any other duties that were carried out, start times and finish times. Underneath, whether you were stopped by a VOSA or the police along the bottom. And then on the back, it's actually got the working time record. Okay, so your working time directive can be kept for each week along with your tachos. So you've got Monday through to Sunday again, total shift times, any POA, the reason for the POA, break times and your total working hours. And again, these can all be handed in. If you're interested in acquiring some of these envelopes, if you go to our website of www.ftstraining.co.uk, okay, you'll get on there our email address and telephone numbers. If you tell us how many you would like, we can then go through pricing and all the ordering details there for you. We've now got up and coming videos coming of how to make manual entries on digital tachographs. So please visit our website to book a course for driver CPC, first aid training, fault truck training and many other courses are on there as well. Thanks very much for listening.